Hi, I'm David. Welcome to another episode of What Is He Going to Do With That Today? Today we're going to show you a quick, easy way to dress up your mantle for the holidays. So click subscribe, like, and stick around with us because we're going to show you a lot of tips and tricks from professionals. Okay, so first things first, when you get your garland, it's usually coming out of a box, coming out of some kind of banded material, and we want to make sure that it doesn't look squished as it's going to come out of the box. So I've already fluffed most of this, but your garland's going to come more like this, and we don't really want it to look like that. We want to shape it and pull all of these pine needles out into individual sections so that it is not one big massive clump of pine, especially if you've got a thicker garland as this one, and this one is pre-lit, so it is going to have lights that need to be kind of separated and so that you get a better effect of the lights instead of a big cluster of bright and then some dark spots. So once we've got our mantle piece fluffed, we're ready to start adding pieces into it. Okay, so next is one thing that I like to do that will save you a lot of time and effort, something that we do as professionals all the time, is add a garland to a garland. So you may want some magnolia stem in your garland, such as this. Well, one thing you can do, instead of having to add so many pieces of this, you can just simply add a couple of garlands into this 9-foot garland. So we want to make sure that we go to the end, and then we're just going to kind of weave this up and down a little bit, and I use a piece of my pine to secure my magnolia garland in there, and this is a fantastic magnolia garland. This is what we consider the next generation of magnolia leaves, because this is actually a printed version of magnolia leaves. They take high definition pictures of multiple magnolia leaves so that they're all a little bit different, and then they print the back as well. Now we have worked our magnolia garland into our pine garland, quick and easy, saves a lot of time, trust me. Now we're actually going to add a berry garland into the same way as we did the magnolia garland. This is a nice wispy berry garland, so we're going to add it kind of similar way. For this one, I'm just going to kind of start in the middle and then work my way kind of up and down, in and out of this garland, because you don't want everything in a completely straight line. So you'll notice I'm kind of up, down, tuck it in and out of this magnolia garland. You don't want the stem to be on top of the magnolia leaves. You want to go behind the magnolia leaves for the stem of the berry garland, because you just want to see the berries, not the stem on top of everything. Okay, at this point we have added two 60-inch magnolia garland and 6-foot berry garland to our 9-foot pine garland. So we doubled up on those because there wasn't quite enough length. They weren't 9 foot for the magnolia or the berry garland. At this point we're going to add some ribbon, because ribbon is one of those things that's really going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. A lot of color, a lot of style in just a little bit of a price. So like this particular ribbon is a faux Dupioni silk plaid, red and green. And you really get a lot of style out of that for $16.99. The goal here is to do kind of the same thing that we did with the berry garland. Is we want to make sure that we go all the way to the end. So we're going to start there first, and then we're going to tuck this back and forth across our magnolia. we don't want to go straight with the ribbon. We want to go back and forth to give it some nice movement, because it's really boring if you just go here and here and here. Then that creates this very straight line, and that's not what we want. We want something that's got a lot more depth and movement to it than that. So don't be afraid to go really behind the garland and then come back toward the front of your garland. And just use a piece of that pine right here. You can see I've just twisted a piece of my garland around that piece of ribbon and tuck that back in. We're going to go back, add another piece of pine to our ribbon, and that gives it a really good curve effect, very flowing in the ribbon. But you want the ribbon to kind of disappear here and there throughout the garland. You don't want it a complete straight line. You don't want it to look like you just unrolled a roll of paper towels into your garland. You want to make sure that people can tell this is nice wired ribbon. It stays where you put it, how you put it. Okay, so we just need to cut this and then we're done with our ribbon. Okay, at this point we have added our ribbon into our garland, and you could really be done at this point. This is a nice natural look. If you want to take it up a scale just a little bit, we can add these faux Mercury glass plastic ornaments into our garland. So we're going to keep going similar fashion. We use a piece of the pine to hold our ornament in place, and I wrap my string so it stays exactly where I want it. And then the following ornaments, we're going to do kind of the same thing, is we want some low, some high, some low, some high. You do not want them all the way across right here. That looks goofy, trust me. Now we've added our balls into our garland. You noticed how they have a nice in and out effect. One last thing I like to do for something very natural like this, you can see we've got a lot of deep greens added into this with some dark reds. I like holly. I specifically like this variegated holly because it looks very fresh still, but it keeps the color up instead of dragging it down. So I think you can just add a few pieces here and there. You don't have to add a ton, but you can always keep going, embellish this with as much or as little as needed. You can add other ornaments, other ribbon, but it's really up to you. I just personally have never found a garland or a Christmas tree or anything of that nature that I couldn't add more into. And this really gives a nice pop of color to that green. Instead of being so dark, this shows up very well. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and tune in next time for more tips. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 7, 8, 20, 30. Hi, and I'm David, right? Hi, I'm David. Welcome to another episode of What Is He Gonna Do With That Today? And I don't know what I'm saying. Hi, I'm David, and welcome to another episode of What Is He Gonna Do With That Today? And what am I saying? Hi, I'm David. Welcome to another episode of What Is He Gonna Do With That Today? Gosh, I cannot get past that.